His plans must come to fruition. And we, as ambassadors of Christ, will do what he calls us to do. We are given the faith to manage and to do what he's calling us to do. We have to concern ourselves with what he's given us to concern ourselves with. We need to focus on Christ and Christ alone. Place our faith on him and in him through him. He is the door. He will make all things happen. So God ordained it through Abraham. Abraham couldn't mess it up. Abraham didn't mess it up. It was part of God's plan, because when Hagar and Ishmael were about to die in the desert of dehydration, God sent miraculously an angel to open the eyes of Hagar so she could see the fountain of water there, to fulfill God's plans. So was it really a mess up with Abraham and Sarah? Or did God ordain Sarah's faith to swindle and to convince Abraham to do what he did? So God is orchestrator even of our faith, even of our belief, which brings the coming of Christ. Second coming of Christ. Right? So, man, we accredit all of this to God. But this teaching, what it does is it helps our faith in our territories. It helps us believe that God has got this. It helps us to understand that the reason why we are where we are right now, let's say you're believing God for an acquisition. The reason why you have got to the place to this acquisition, because you've done many of them before, and now you're just doing another one, which is causing some issues, and you're trying to get it, and it's taking a little longer. The reason why you're even here in the first place is because of God. You did nothing. It's not your education. It's not this. It's not that. God is the one who put all things together, inclusive, not limited to your education and all those other things that we're saying it's not. It was him who allowed you to do everything to be where you're at right now. So why worry? Worry is fear. Fear is doubt, which is sin, which equals death, which ends up being that servant that had the one talent and buried it out of fear. So we can't fear. We need to know, stand with our shoulders back, our feet firmly planted on the ground, that God has got this. How do you know? Because I have faith in Christ. I believe Christ. He is. And yeah, he can do it even through me. That's where our faith has to be. It has to be in Christ. It's not, look at all that I have. No, that is the grace of God. He even gave you the faith to believe him. There's no boasting. By what law? Of works? No, but by the law of faith. Because it is our work to believe in him that was sent. That is Yeshua HaMashiach. We believe on him. Then he says to you, go do this. Do it. He says to you, make sure to do that. Make sure to do that. Because when you don't, that's unbelief. You don't believe him. He told you to do this, but you didn't do it because you thought something was more important to do. You thought something else was bigger. That's unbelief. The law of faith is to believe Christ, and that's it. Done. And out of that, Christ will tell you to do things, and you simply do what he tells you to do. There's no boasting in there. And this whole thing is used for his own purpose, riches, and glory.